Hi everyone, it's Kendall here, and what I have for you today is week number 16 of our Grandma's Kitchen Sew-Along, which is hosted by Pat Sloan at her website, ilovetomakequilts.com. If you haven't done so already, jump over to Pat's website, download this week's free pattern, come back here, and I'll show you how I do it. So here we are again this week with all of our pieces cut out as per Pat's wonderful free pattern, and this week we are just simply making a churn dash with a border around it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So there are no changes to this week's pattern as it is quite simple, and I have here my light, my medium and my dark. We're going to start by making some half square triangles, which is where we normally start most of our videos, as a half square triangle unit is one of the foundations of quilting. We'll take our background or our light fabric and we'll simply draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on one direction only on both of these. Match those right sides together with our medium fabric. I'm just about to lose my words. Take that to the machine and stitch 1/4 inch on each side of our drawn line. Once we've got that done, I like to give them a press first just to settle those stitches down into the fabric, relieve any tension that may have been caused because we are sewing across the bias, and then we will cut them in half on our drawn line, and we're going to press all of these to our medium fabric. We are now ready to trim these down, and you can do that in whichever way you prefer, but for me, I normally do it 2 at a time, but when I'm working with these smaller shapes, I do like to use this makeshift block lock ruler. All I've done is taken a 3.5 inch square Creative Grids ruler, and I've placed 3 layers of painter's tape along that diagonal line. What this does is it gives us a ledge that you can butt up against that seam allowance so that you know that it's perfectly aligned, and then you can trim away those first 2 sides. Because it has caught that edge, as you just saw, you can then just swoop the whole thing around, then line back up your 2.5 inch measurement on those freshly cut sides and trim the final 2 sides, and you have a perfect piece. Why I don't use the 2 at a time method for smaller shapes is because sometimes there's not that much to trim down and you can't quite get them lined up enough to make sure that you are actually trimming both at the same time. Plus, it's fun to use different tools. If you want to purchase a block lock, I will have a few links in the description box below, but as I said, I just make my own using some painter's tape and my 3.5 inch square Creative Grids ruler. We're going to trim all 4 of these down to the 2.5 inches, and then we'll be ready to lay it out for final construction of this middle part of the block. As I indicated before, we are now ready to lay out this central unit of the block, and for that we need to bring in 1 of our medium squares, which is 2.5 inches, and 4 of our light squares, which are also 4.5 inches, and they should be the last 4 remaining light pieces. We'll lay this out as a 9 patch, as you see me doing here, and it goes together with 9 patch construction. We're going to start by sewing all of our vertical seams and then our horizontal seams. For the top and the bottom row, we'll press in towards that central square, and on the center row, we'll press out towards the light squares on the side. Pressing to the lighter fabric is sometimes not recommended because it could shadow through, but for me with the fabrics I'm using, that's not an issue, so that is what I'm doing. As I only finger pressed before, now that I've got the top 2 rows done, I will just set those in with my iron. And because of the way we pressed, you'll notice here that our inner sections will nest nicely. Yes, I am obsessed with nesting, but it gives you a nice flat inner section. Alrighty, we'll sew this first horizontal seam, and then we'll have a look at how I actually press it now that that's done. I think I just press towards the middle, but we shall see. Indeedy do, I am just pressing on this center row towards the middle there because we've got some nice solid fabric and we don't have those bulky intersections at the end of the half square triangles. So we'll attach this last row to our central portion of this block and we'll be ready to move on. With our churn dash unit now made, just giving it one final press to set everything in, and now all we simply need to do is add a border with cornerstones on this, or sashing with cornerstones. So we'll bring in our dark fabrics and one strip goes either side of our churn dash, another strip goes at the top and the bottom. We then have our 4 remaining medium fabrics which go in each corner, and in essence what we have here again is a 9 patch, but it's an uneven 9 patch being that all of the sections are different sizes. So we will sew this together in the same way we do 9 patch units by doing all of our vertical seams and then our horizontal seams. Because we will be pressing out towards the sashing on that central row, we will press in towards the sashing on the top and the bottom, and therefore all of our intersections on the corners will nest perfectly. As you would have seen there, once we attach our top and bottom rows of sashing, we're just pressing towards those sashing pieces rather than towards the center of the block, because once again that puts your fabric away from the points of those half square triangles. And our block for this week is done, remembering that this is another 10.5 inch unfinished one. As with all the Block Wednesday patterns, Pat does offer optional layouts at the end for one style of quilt that would use that week's block, and this is her offering for this week, where I simply just reversed the colours onto every second block and then alternated them through the rows to make a checkerboard type design. You could, rather than matching up all of those seam allowances and edges, just add some sashing and cornerstones. And you can see here that I went with using the block in all just its original colouring. The churn dash block looks great when set on point, and you'll see here that once again, just butting them up side by side, I reversed the colours just to have that little bit of visual difference. And finally, just adding some sashing and cornerstones to this on point setting using all of the original colorings. Any and all of these layouts would look great using scrappy fabrics, just using up your stash or what you have in your scrap baskets. Okay folks, a nice easy one this week, and the churn dash is a very popular block, and I hope that you liked me playing around with it and putting it on point. As I stated in the video, I think it looks best on point, although it never looks bad. If you've liked what you've seen today, I would love for you to like the video, share it with a friend that you think may be interested. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. It's the best way to support the channel. Also, leave me a comment in the box below with how you thought today's video went, and actually just even to say hi and let me know that you're out there. Once you have subscribed to the videos, or to my channel actually, which includes my videos, make sure you click that little bell icon, and then you'll be notified of all my future releases and you won't miss a thing. I will see you on Saturday this week for the setting video for our Brackman sampler. As you can see on the wall behind me, I've been working hard on getting that done. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now.